Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was just looking at this and I thought, you know what? This is some juicy news. So since you're here anyway, let's watch this together.
This is a historic move being considered, of course, by VW to shutter factories in Germany for the first time in its 87-year history. This as EU car makers lose ground to Chinese manufacturers in the race to produce electric vehicles. Let's get more with Bloomberg's EMEA Autos industry team leader, Elizabeth Berman, who covers all of this for us. Elizabeth, what does this news say then about the state of the car industry in Europe and how perilous that situation is right now?
Yeah, I would say that for the past months, really since late last year, I would say there's been a growing sense of things derailing somewhat in the European car industry, led by the slump in EV sales as certain governments removed incentives. And as things didn't quite pan out as thought in terms of the strategies laid down, and of course very costly strategies at that, these sorts of issues have been coming to the fore. Among those, VW is probably, as Europe's biggest car maker, the one that has the most work to do. And as we pointed out in our story yesterday and today as well, the company has a very particular governance setup that makes pushing through big changes, big decisions, big savings really, really hard.
That is an understatement. Now, it's kind of funny that Bloomberg was suggesting that this was an unexpected negative turn of events. Bro, I've literally been calling this since day one on the channel, and you can fact check me. Now, regarding how difficult it is to make decisions, yes, it is very hard to turn around a big ship. Does anyone recall exactly how I have previously described the ownership structure of VW? In case you forgot, quote, a bureaucratic, red tape encrusted dumpster fire of a company. A direct quote, repeated many times. Good luck, they're screwed. Now, what's about to happen? Potentially, VW closing a bunch of factories. Why would they be doing that? Because they're fucked. They're on the way to bankruptcy. A huge collapse in volumes, all predicted many years back. Again, you can fact check me. Today, on a good year, VW sells around 10, 11 million vehicles a year. In the future, they'll be selling, if they're even still in business, maybe one or two, if they're lucky. This business is going to collapse and it's going to be absolutely brutal. I don't want this to happen. I'm just telling you what's inevitable. The signs have been there going back years. I thought, you know what, they might have a chance. That was, of course, while Herbert D. Snuts was still employed. But unfortunately, after accurately describing reality and pointing out that Tesla was leading, they were learning from Tesla, they were inspired by Tesla, they want to catch up to Tesla, it'll be hard, but they'll try, praising Musk, praising Tesla, and also disclosures that VW takes about 3 times as long for them to produce a comparable vehicle to a Tesla Model 3, I think at the time, maybe Model Y. Herbert D. Snuts got shit canned for telling the truth. I mean, totally unrelated reasons, yeah. That was the point. I'm like, okay, these guys are fucked. So, just to recap my predictions historically, the vast majority of legacy automotive manufacturers, including the monsters like VW and Toyota, who in a good year sell 10 plus million vehicles a year, are not going to make it. In the absolute best case, along the way, there will be mergers and acquisitions and consolidation and then bankruptcy filings. As I've said in the past, the analogy holds. Expecting a company like Volkswagen or Toyota or any legacy automotive manufacturer to start producing computers on wheels that can compete with Tesla's computers on wheels is like expecting a world-class chef to instantly become a world-class ballerina. Good luck. I mean, it could happen. But the odds of mastering an entirely different skill would be unprecedented. Not something I would be counting on. We're starting to see VW collapse. The foundations are shaking, and this collapse will accelerate. It's a death spiral as companies scale back and sell less vehicles, especially less ICE vehicles. Their profits will collapse and then turn negative on their currently profitable ICE business. At the same time, they're not making any money on electric vehicles, which they need to make at scale profitably to survive. This is the beginning of the end for VW. Let's continue the clip.
And on that point then, given the ownership structure and given the role of unions and the seats that they have on the board, how challenging will it be for VW essentially to cut down or shut down those plants? How realistic is that threat right now?
Well, if history is a guide, you'd probably say not very. Lots of key top-level executives have had to vacate their seats over plans like this. So CEO Oliver Blumer will be in a tough spot for the next few months. That said, even as VW continues to rake in significant profits, last year they made more than 22 billion in operating profit.
selling dinosaurs soon to be extinct, just for the record. Okay, well, the sun shines.
They do recognize that the competition is growing in a way that they do need to make really significant changes. And one of the key issues is the overcapacity that they have, particularly in high-cost countries. Globally, the car maker has capacity to make 14 million vehicles annually. Last year they made 9 million. That's globally, of course. But the plants most at risk, would be in the high-cost areas of Western Europe, and of course that's where VW has most of its plants in Germany, which is among those particularly high cost.
Can you say completely and utterly fine, everything's fine, don't worry, nothing to panic about here? Plus, who could have seen this coming anyway? Wait, what's this? Wait, is that guy kind of looks like a younger version of me. I wonder what he's got to say. Volkswagen will become the biggest electric car brand in the next 2 years when sales overtake Tesla from 2024. Industry report indicates. So apparently this video is from mid-2022. This is going to be interesting. Who is this guy? Man, he's a dead ringer for me. Just looks a bit younger.
They are on another website reporting the same so-called study. Quote, Volkswagen will become the biggest electric car brand in the next 2 years when sales overtake Tesla from 2024. Industry report predicts. Bloomberg Unintelligence predicts Tesla will be top EV seller for the next 18 months. VW will overtake it for global sales in 2024 as demand for battery cars surges. Other mainstream auto firms will remain behind Tesla in 2025, the report suggests.
Holy this guy is so rude. He intentionally renamed Bloomberg Intelligence to Bloomberg Unintelligence to suggest that they're all fucking brain dead by suggesting that VW would overtake Tesla in terms of electric vehicle sales in 2024. What a rude, arrogant prick. But he does kind of have a point. What a ridiculous idea.
Hey, at least they got something right. And now straight to the source, over on Bloomberg. Category, press announcement. Volkswagen to overtake Tesla's battery electric vehicle sales crown by 2024, finds Bloomberg Unintelligence. Wait, did they actually? Anyway, moving on. Tesla to retain global sales spot for at least another year before Volkswagen, already leading in Europe, likely overtakes it as early as 2024. My life. This is about as probable as the average Tesla Q basement dwelling adult virgin getting laid. Tesla is likely to retain its global #1 battery electric vehicle sales spot for at least another 18 months as legacy automakers struggle to sell a meaningful share of battery electric vehicles in 2022 and 2023, according to a new major report on the global EV sector by research firm Bloomberg Unintelligence, BU. The report, entitled Battery Electric Vehicles Report, Automakers Race to the Top, finds that the profit incentive to catch up with Tesla is lacking for most traditional markets in the short term amid rising battery costs and a lack of scale, except for Volkswagen. And by the way, in fairness, this is relatively accurate. VW is actually producing a significant number of electric vehicles today compared to most other automakers on Earth. But this is not really what we're talking about here today. It's the idea that VW is actually going to overtake Tesla for EV volume.
Should go without saying, but just to be clear, VW is still today selling plenty of electric vehicles, but as was the case a couple of years ago when this obnoxious twat was roasting the morons at Bloomberg Intelligence for their ridiculous prediction, VW wasn't making any money selling electric vehicles, no matter how many it was selling back then, nor is it today. Selling lots of products and losing money on every single one of them is not a viable long-term strategy. But the only way to start making money on those things is if you scale up production to sufficient enough levels and have a compelling enough product that you can produce for a low enough price that you can sell it to consumers for a profit. But if you're shutting down electric vehicle factories instead of scaling up production, you're never going to get to that high volume profitability, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, therefore you're fucked. Anyway, back to this guy.
German automaker is on track to overtake Tesla's battery electric vehicle volume in 2024 as global battery electric vehicle demand is set to more than double out to 2025. Bloomberg Unintelligence analysis shows China's BYD ranking 3rd for battery electric vehicle sales globally in 2025. This is probably accurate, so hey, got to give credit where it's due. They're not completely off the mark. Some reasonable points. Followed by a glut of legacy automakers languishing around the 1 million annual BEV sales mark. It is not until later in the decade that US and Japanese automakers will be serious challengers for a top 3 spot. Ford, Government Motors, etc. Yeah, good luck getting close to the top 3 for years to come.
Just wanted to provide an update. A couple of years later, Government Motors and Ford dramatically also having scaled back their extremely unambitious electric vehicle production goals. So clearly not on track.
bid to challenge Tesla's $686 billion market cap, which is almost double that of all US and European legacy automakers combined. Given the fact that most are headed toward bankruptcy, this is more than reasonable. The report highlights that legacy automakers are unlikely to succeed in divesting battery electric vehicle related assets that are intertwined with their combustion operations and whose cash flows are paying for the transition. Again, fairly reasonable points here. Currently, ICE vehicles still being sold profitably, helping to pay for the transition, but ICE vehicles soon will no longer be sold profitably, and then they'll be sold for catastrophic losses. And at the same time, no one's buying ICE vehicles. They're no longer profitable for automakers. They're no longer cost competitive for consumers. It's better to buy an EV. This is the same time these companies need to be investing tens of billions of dollars in ramping up EV production.
But update, 2 years later, that's the exact same time we're now hearing about VW potentially shutting down factories, EV factories in Europe. Wow.
Doesn't end well. Volkswagen is the exception and is on track to launch an IPO of its Porsche brand in Q4. Given the company's potential 30% battery electric vehicle sales mix in 2023 and about 45% in 2025, it is significantly ahead of peers and could attract the luxury-based €85 billion valuation for the IPO and possibly an even higher tech-oriented valuation, according to the report. Quote, looking ahead, automakers in Europe, China and elsewhere will continue to challenge Tesla via an impending wave of new models. Before we get too much further along, I just do want to point something out. Unless you're a prolific womanizer, a wave of new models doesn't mean shit. What these companies need instead of a wave of new models is at least one compelling model. That's it. That's the formula.
Holy shit, this guy must have a crystal ball. It turns out that Tesla produced a compelling model in the most popular category of vehicle on earth, compact SUV, the Model Y, which is now literally so compelling of a model, just one, that it's the best-selling vehicle of any kind in, wait a minute, wait, oh, that's right, on the whole planet, last year and this year as well, in China, everywhere. Like, it's almost as if this guy was right when he said you just need one extremely compelling model, one category killer per category, and you win, as opposed to idiotically having 450 trillion different models, which does not mean shit. Hey, does this guy have like a YouTube channel or something? I might subscribe. I tend to agree with some of his points.
9 different EVs for this company and that company doesn't mean anything if consumers don't want to buy them, if they're not compelling. And here's the problem. Just because automakers plan to introduce a bunch of new EV models does not mean a fucking thing. Consumers need to actually buy them, and the company needs to be able to produce them profitably lest they go out of business. Though profit incentives are limited amid rising battery costs and a lack of scale. Again, fair point. That may change in 2025 to 2026 as more brands achieve critical mass on new generation models with proprietary software. There are a number of challenging external factors to consider, and bold battery electric vehicle ambitions have done little to prevent crisis level valuation multiples, stoked by recession fears, rising interest rates, supply chain constraints, and inflation, said Michael Dean, senior European automotive industry analyst. Now, I don't want to be too rude here, but remember the whole automotive analysts, generally speaking, have absolutely no fucking idea when it comes to electric vehicles? Of course, Michael's probably the exception, and the fact that he's involved in Bloomberg Unintelligence is just a total coincidence. Battery price.
Oh, well, that's awkward. That awkward time when this guy roasts an absolute moron who's an automotive industry analyst for being an automotive industry analyst, which was a really negative signal in terms of ability to understand what's happening with the electric vehicle market. Writes this fucking report that VW is going to overtake Tesla in terms of EV volumes in 2024. By the way, we'll do the update soon and see what the numbers were. It's still, the year's currently underway, right? But it's pretty easy to call this race. This guy's so disrespectful, but he was kind of right, that automotive industry analyst, thinking VW's overtaking Tesla in EV sales in 2024. Dead fucking wrong, how embarrassing. I wonder if he's retired out of shame.
Prices remain critical to the cost competitiveness of BEVs, and Volkswagen is investing up to €30 billion in supply chain, including the opening of 6 new battery cell plants in Europe by 2030. Swedish battery developer Northvolt starts production on premium cells for it in 2023, notes BI, while Audi's mid-size Q4 battery electric vehicle SUV already has a similar margin to its internal combustion engine counterpart, the Q3. Quote, China's carrot and stick approach to stoking EV sales could push battery electrics to account for 25% of all passenger vehicle purchases by 2025. Don't want to rain on anyone's parade here again. I mean, I understand where they're coming from here, but this is a massive underestimate, honestly. 25% by 25? Mate, try about 45%. Could I...
Oh, hey, it's me again, and fact check. Just wanted to fact check this obnoxious twat making arrogant predictions about the future that really audacious, like as if you'd know that. What's this here? By the end of 2023... the electric vehicle share had climbed to 37%, by the way. This is in China. with pure battery electric vehicles generating 25% of overall registrations in 2023, not 25 now. So you understand why that guy was saying massive underestimate. 2 years early, this is exponential growth. It ain't going to be 30% this year and 33% in 25. I reckon that 45% is probably going to be bang on the fucking money. Please keep me accountable. Check back in a couple of years. So just counting here, obnoxious idiot making videos on the internet who doesn't know anything. 2, automotive industry analyst on Bloomberg Unintelligence. 0. Just keeping score.
Could I be wrong? Yes. How could I be wrong? Material shortages. This is the only way this plays out. If companies can get the materials, can get the battery cells, and put them in electric vehicles in China, far in excess of 1/4 of their new vehicle market will be electric by 2025. I know we're just a few years away from that point. This is why I'm emphasizing this so much. People don't get this. Sales in China have...
Well, it turns out this guy was right again. People don't get that. That's why he was emphasizing that they don't get it and pointing out that, bro, 25% in 2025, way under the mark. And again, that was 2023. And this prediction was only, just to be clear, this prediction about 25% of all EVs in China in 2025, this prediction was in 2022. The next year, 25%. That is a massive margin of error.
Have surged since the launch of the country's new energy vehicle credit program, despite erratic component supply, said Steve Mann, senior China automotive industry analyst at Bloomberg Unintelligence. So they really are bringing in the big guns here, automotive industry analysts. Now, it is worth taking a moment here to explain why I'm ripping on these automotive industry analysts. Not personal, and I'm sure these two men might actually be extremely intelligent and actually get it. That would make them the exception to the rule. But given the whole title of automotive industry analyst, you're analyzing the automotive industry. You'd hope your analysis would be pretty close to the mark. So please set a few reminders to check back in early 2026 and let's see how these predictions played out.
Oh, well, shit. What do you know? It's me again. We didn't even need to wait that long. Oh, this is so good. By the way, it's extremely narcissistic as well, but it's entertaining as fuck. I do make these predictions to hold myself accountable. That's why I literally said in this video to check back. Right. We didn't even need to wait that long. I'm sure you guys start to understand why I relentlessly roast these so-called experts every time they say something that is embarrassingly wrong.
Volkswagen, BMW, and other foreign brand sales in China may come at the expense of pricing and profitability, having ceded first-mover advantage to Tesla and local makers. BYD, NIO, and XPeng and other local firms are rapidly closing the technology and branding gaps, wooing consumers not only with driving range and power, but also lower prices, luxury trim, and even virtual reality entertainment. Quote, Ford is set to spin the electric vehicle narrative away from Tesla, with the F-150 Lightning getting an early and year-long jump on the competition and making Ford the first automaker to ramp up production of a full-size battery-only pickup truck. Government Motors and Tesla won't compete in the space before 2023, and Rivian's small scale makes it unthreatening. Now, for the record, it's true, Ford actually doing the right things here, getting an electric F-150 to market. This is a great decision, a great move, but in the scheme of things, it's not a huge deal. It will take a few years before consumers start to cotton on to an electric pickup truck, especially from Ford. Tesla Cybertruck at this point in time will be ramping up, will be produced, will be released, will be going on streets. People go, what the actual fuck is that? They'll see it on work sites. People will be kicking, throwing rocks at it, going, hey, look, it doesn't even scratch, man. Check this out. Next minute, people go, oh, I might buy a Cybertruck. And here we have the crux of the entire video. Top 10 automaker battery electric vehicle sales forecast to 2025. Tesla in orange here, Volkswagen in white. We'll notice out of nowhere, Volkswagen just suddenly catching up to Tesla, inexplicably, I might add. But that's not what I want to focus on here. What I want to focus on, rather than the trend and the absurd idea that out of nowhere, Volkswagen just suddenly starts outgrowing Tesla, massively increasing their production capacity at a far faster rate than Tesla. I mean, okay. I just want to look at the actual numbers here because these are just ridiculous and they won't age well and it's embarrassing. And I hope everyone involved in this study in a few years' time can come out and say, hey, we were completely wrong. I mean, that's very surprising because after all, we are automotive industry analysts, but our analysis of the automotive industry was completely fucking wrong and we're embarrassed and ashamed we ever put this out there.
God damn, this guy is just so rude, but he kind of has a point. How is it that this some idiot who just makes videos from his kitchen on the internet was able to, a couple of years ahead of time, roast these so-called industry experts, knowing that they would be embarrassingly wrong and telling everybody exactly how wrong they would be in a video, and then here we are today. It's just so awkward and delicious.
Sorry, we made a mistake. A big mistake. And we're never going to make any future predictions because we no longer have any credibility. But I doubt that's going to happen.
All right, so apparently this guy's got some more thoughts. Wonder what he's got to say.
To understand here is, in general, humans are morons when it comes to understanding exponential growth. It's unintuitive. This is one of the major errors the so-called experts make over and over and over when predicting disruptive technology and innovation. In approximately 0 out of 4 trillion cases, when a new disruptive innovative technology that was multiple times better than the previous technology appeared on the market, 99% of the experts got it completely wrong to the downside, always underestimating, there's no way that could happen that fast. Well, we're in the same situation once again with EV adoption estimates. Everyone massively off the mark, and I mean massively. Estimates from around 6-7 years ago, at best, maybe 250,000 electric vehicles were meant to be sold in 2022. Tesla alone is selling more vehicles in 2022 per quarter than the entire global automotive market was meant to be doing, according to the so-called experts. But don't worry, this time they haven't fucked it up. This time they've got it right. This time they haven't made the same mistake. This time they've actually accounted for exponential growth. Oh wait, they haven't.
All right, enough sucking my own dick, although I'll tell you what, it feels good, man. But I did just want to point this out. Why? Things are playing out exactly as predicted. The experts are wrong, estimating to the downside, and importantly, companies like VW are in serious fucking trouble. No, they're not overtaking Tesla. No, the competition is not coming for Tesla. No. They're currently headed for bankruptcy, and things are playing out exactly as predicted by somebody on the internet who doesn't know anything, as opposed to the industry experts. So I did promise to actually do a fact check. In 2023, this was the state of things. VW sold 0.77 million electric vehicles, BYD 1.57 million electric vehicles, double, and then some. And Tesla, 1.8 million electric vehicles. So far, BYD and Tesla, well, BYD sales looking like they're going to fall off a cliff in the second half of the year. Tesla's still on track to maintain roughly the same volume despite tough economic conditions, especially for the automotive industry. And VW, well, so far, VW Group, the entire group, electric vehicles sold in the first half of 2024, currently at 317,000 for the first half of the year. Meanwhile, Tesla, 386,000. Oh, I'm just kidding. Trolling alert. Guess what, guys? That was a single quarter. We've got to add the next quarter as well for a grand total of 830,766. So just doing the quick numbers for you guys. VW, who were to overtake Tesla this year in terms of electric vehicle sales, so far currently have sold roughly 1/3 as many electric vehicles in the first half of the year as Tesla. So they definitely got some work to do. Good thing they're not shutting down factories and... Oh, wait, they are. Don't worry. Everything's fine. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. Plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1.
If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back.
So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game's improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.